Okay, so by 1979, International Harvester or IH was bleeding money. The board finally admitted that the Scout wasn't going to survive if it kept being treated like an accessory to the farm equipment lineup. By the late 70s, things were sort of shifting with some trims, like the Super Scout 2, and they were offering more amenities seen from other manufacturers such as door panels. And they realized they made more profit margin on a high-end Scout than on a bare-bones farm one. So IH started to shift towards mainstream with their Scouts, easily their most well-known and best-selling model. At the center of this transformation was this guy named Jim Bostic. He was a former AMC sales executive, and he understood what branding could do for a struggling automaker. At AMC, he was familiar with how Hurst Performance helped turn ordinary cars into icons. Think about the Hurst Olds, the Hurst SC Rambler, or even the 300H. All flashy, limited run, high profit specials that created excitement even when the base models didn't. Hurst was a perfect match for that plan. They were known for their performance shifters, and by the 70s, it had become a marketing powerhouse. You know, the people that had Hurst shifters, they had aura, and they were not messing around on the track. And while they were without a doubt known for their shifters, they had a few cars as well. I'm an AMC fan, I'm sure my longtime viewers know that, and I think the SC Rambler is neat, but in my opinion, it does not match the Chrysler 300H. That absolute behemoth, 440, 480 foot-pounds of torque, and it's just stunning. Only 501 of those were ever made. You also have the Hurst Jeepster, that one's a little bit of an oddball, the Pontiac SSJ, which I had no idea existed, and of course the Hurst Olds. Bright paint, loud decals, and the illusion of speed even if the numbers didn't always back it up. That's the kind of magic Bostic wanted for the Scout, something that could pull the brand up market. Speaking of upmarket, there was those Midas Edition Scouts. IH contracted with them and built special luxury models. Apart from those, there was Custom Vehicles Inc. or CVI. They made some really cool ones as well. But to make a long story short, Hurst agreed and the Scout Shawnee project was born in the middle of 1978. Now I don't know how they came up with this name, Shawnee, referring to a Native American tribe. They don't have anything else similar that I'm aware of, but that's what they decided on. If I had to take a wild guess, maybe it was to evoke toughness and a connection to the land qualities associated with 4x4 vehicles. Everybody knows about the Jeep Cherokee, there's the Cherokee Chief trim. Hell, Pontiac was named after Chief Pontiac, but again, I'm not really 100% sure. The first example was built by Hurst themselves in Michigan, and it had a Targa-style roof. For those who don't know, a Targa roof features a removable center panel offering open-air experience of a convertible, but with the added structural strength of a fixed-roof car. The Porsche 911 Targa, I believe, was the first to have it, and it's something you exclusively see on sports cars. There was the AMC Eagle Sundancer. Those were odd to say the least, but yeah, mainly sports cars. To add, this Targa top was built around a roll bar, which is just very fascinating to see on an SUV. The photo on screen is Shawnee Number 1, and it had a few differences than the others, which I will now briefly cover. First, that Targa roof was taller, and the reason for this was because there was a built-in light bar, but that feature ended up getting dropped. It also had a rear spare-mounted tire, which was also dropped, thin rocker panels, a chrome brush guard which switched to black, and a digital dash insert box. This photo here with Linda Vaughn, and no, I had no idea who that was before making this video, you see the dash is kind of raised up. This was a system that allowed for a digital speedometer, oil pressure, fuel level, and tachometer in 1978. That's very impressive coming from this farm company. The first production car with a true digital instrument cluster was an Aston Martin in '76. Then in '78, GM's all-new Seville had a trip computer or something, but just crazy coming from IH. No one for certain knows where number 1 is. There's theories, but nothing has been confirmed, and with that, I will now go over 2 and 3. Visually, apart from that interesting Targa top, what else did you get with this Hurst package? Well, we got those Hurst logos on that Targa structure, the SS or Scout Shawnee decals on the rear fenders, and some vertical gold and white stripes. There's also the Go Rhino brush guard, KC lights with covers, Rocket Trail duster wheels, bumper extensions, and 10x15 Goodyear tracker tires. There were no back seats in these, instead a plastic hinged tonneau covered the cargo area. And if we open it up, there lies a bed mounted spare tire, which I think is cool, but you do sacrifice rear seating. Stepping inside, these had racing inspired Cobra bucket seats, a dash black cut pile carpeting, and finally that Hurst shifter. While it does look like a manual, it's not. It's the 3-speed Hurst auto stick that fit International's T407. What's cool about these though is they blended the feel of a manual with the convenience of an automatic. There were 2 distinct shift patterns, normal, and then there was ratchet, which was for performance driving. The driver could move the lever into a separate gated slot that prevented accidental overshifting. You could bump it forward or back 1 gear at a time without worrying about skipping gears or hitting neutral. If you're disappointed by that, you're not going to like what's under the hood, because it's a stock 345 V8 found in other Scouts. Now granted, this was the top engine for the Scout at the time, and they were good for 150 horsepower and 263 pound-feet of torque. This package would have set buyers back around $4,500, which is close to $19,000 in 2025. If you look at it with half glass full, we got ourselves an automatic Scout with a stock V8 and some stickers, but I would like to think there was potential for more. Examples 2 and 3 were built at the Fort Wayne plant in October of 1979. Guess what happened a month later? The strike that pretty much killed the Scout division. IH had a long and messy history with the United Auto Workers stretching back to the 1950s. Come the mid-70s, the company was struggling to stay competitive against Caterpillar and John Deere, and management blamed what they saw as inefficient work rules. This all-new CEO came in. He had no real background in labor relations, and he was paid a shit ton of money, and then he immediately fired most of the company's middle managers. As you would expect, this caused a riot. Negotiations opened in August of '79, and they fell apart almost instantly, and by November 1, the UAW had enough. Over 35,000 workers across 21 plants in 8 states walked off the job. I believe this was like the 4th biggest UAW strike in American history. After 172 days, a tentative deal was reached in April 1980, but it was already too late. International Harvester lost $479 million in just 6 months. They were forced to sell assets, take out emergency loans, and sell the Scout division. The reason why I'm saying all of this is because had this not happened, who knows what the Scout brand could have been. There was this SSV or supplementary Scout vehicle that was in the works along with a lot of other stuff. I definitely will make a video on the plans that International Harvester had because it's very interesting. The Hurst Scout Shawnee as well was just completely forgotten about when this was all going down. Off-road performance SUVs wouldn't be a thing for a while. There's the 392 Wrangler, Bronco R, I guess the 5.9 Limited, but IH had this in the works way before. Only 3 were ever made. Number 1 is nowhere to be found, but numbers 2 and 3, at least of 2022, are doing just fine. I believe number 2 has less than 4,000 miles on it, while number 3 was used off-roading, has more dings and dents, and has at least 50,000 miles. I'm going to have a link in the description for a video presented by Jim Allen. I learned a lot from that video, so if you want to know even more, be sure to check that out. If you happen to know more information on these, please comment down below and I will send over an email to Jim. They are still on the lookout for that number 1 prototype, so if I'm able to help in the slightest, I think that would be pretty cool. That's going to conclude this week's video. I've only made one other IH video, so my knowledge on them is definitely not the best. I will be covering more of them in the future, especially their trucks. The Terra is just absolutely awesome. But anyway, thank you all for making it to this point of the video. I appreciate all the support I've been getting lately. It really means a lot. With that, I hope you all enjoy the rest of your week, and I will try and see you all next week.